Congratulations to all those who have cleared UPSC Prelims 2024. And the next 75 days is going to be very crucial. The competition also increases, and accordingly, the efforts that you put in right now matters a lot. Mains is one phase that you can actually control and execute it compared to the prelims or the interview phase, which you already know, which is dicey and unpredictable. So the next 2.5 months or the 75 days is going to be very crucial. So let us see how we can use the 75 days in a very effective manner. So coming to the key takeaways for the next 75 days, I'll be dividing the mains part into 3 subjects based on the marks allocated. So the entire planning should be based on the marks allocated, the focus areas in the next 2.5 months, and the must-dos in the mains phase, and the notes making, and eventually on everything that you need to know about answer writing. So these are the things that I would be covering in today's session. So coming to the first part, that as I said, it is of 1750 marks. So GS 1, 2, 3, I'll be grouping it to one, that is 750 marks for you. Optional is one part for me, and the third major subject for me here would be ethics and essay. I will be grouping it into one. So this 500, 500 and 500 and 750. So this is total, it would be 1750. This is how I've divided in the planning part. And the 3 focus areas would be obviously your reading, that is content building, and the notes consolidation along with validation. All this will obviously happen simultaneously, right? So this part happens simultaneously. The revision is a important thing here again. And finally, the test series, how many test series to take, top marks, all that. So these are the other focus areas on which the entire planning has been done. Coming to the planning, this graph basically says the amount of time that you would be giving in the initial days, say in the month of July. Obviously it will be more here, and as the time goes, the amount of time that you are giving to the optional keeps decreasing, and the amount of time that you are giving for the general studies papers, that keeps increasing. That is the idea of this entire graph, July, August, September, and this is the optional graph part, and general studies on the x-axis. Fine. So this is the time that I've taken, July, August and September. So this is how the planning is done. And coming to what I'll be doing here is, first let us see what you should be covering in the September month. Then we'll go to July and August. That is how I've broken it down. So the first week or 5 days, and by the way, this can be considered as an ideal strategy. This can be considered as a benchmark according to which you can obviously modify it according to your preparation, because every individual is different, every student ka preparation level is different. So accordingly you can plan. So in the month of September, I usually say you have to focus more on the revision and full length test. So what I've done is, in the September 1st to 5th, either you can go with the optional FLM, that is one full length test of your optional paper 1, paper 2, and you can keep it for revision. And the next 2 weeks it is for GS revision, and according to your time, see, at least one full length test of GS and one full length test of your optional should be taken before you go for the exam. So if time permits, obviously you can take one full length test, that is essay GS 1, 2, GS 3, 4 in the first 7 days and this 7 days. So this is how it can be planned. So this is basically for taking revisions and the full length test, the month of September. Obviously you'll be left with another 2-3 days that will be always kept as a buffer, just in case of emergency. So I've kept it as buffer here. Clear? Coming to the July month. So here, as I said, the major focus should be on the optionals. So I have segregated it into 80:20 here. So 80% of your time, say you're reading for 10 hours, so 7 to 8 hours should go for your optional. The remaining 2 hours can go for your GS. And also here, what I've put here is like ethics and essay. Optional ethics and essay should be your go-to area in the initial months, wherein every week, that I'll come to it when I discuss about essay and ethics. So either this way, or you can go with this ratio, like 60:40. That is 6 hours for your optional, 4 hours for your GS. And you can follow, if you're following a test series, you can go with it. Because if you look at our TLP also, every week there's a GS test, right? So either you can go with, say, a test series, then you have to allocate the time accordingly. If you're doing it on your own and if you want to take GS later, then this can be the proportion. Fine. Yeah, this is with respect to essay. So essay, what I would advise you to do is, like, you can take every week 2 essays. If you don't have time, one essay you can write it and write the entire essay. The other essay you can brainstorm. See, brainstorming is a very important part in mains, because that will help you a lot in on-the-spot thinking, which is so important in the mains phase. So 2 essays I would consider every weekend, May. So that is, you'll have 8 weeks, that is in the month of July and August. So you'll be writing 16 essays, and in the last month, if you're taking 2 full-length tests, so there you'll add another 4 essays, because each paper will contain 2 essays. So all in all, you'll be able to write 20 essays. See, this can be the ideal strategy. If you're not able to do it, at least make sure that you write 10 essays at least, and you at least brainstorm another 10 essays. So that should be the strategy here. And also, when you go through the PYQs in essays, the beautiful codes and beautiful topics are given in the PYQs. That should be the source. Take the last 10 years paper. So I have taken the last 10 years paper, according to which I have divided into different themes, and this theme is also according to the frequency of questions. So the more number of questions are coming from philosophical these days. So that would be the first criteria. Then it is on society and women. Then it is on education related topics, science and technology, rationality versus religion, faith, belief system, right? Superstitious beliefs, all that. Then polity, governance and international relations, environment and health. So these are the major themes on which the topics are coming. Make sure that you write at least 1 essay in all the from 2nd till 7th, and more number of essays in philosophical, right? And please go through the PYQs. You'll get an idea on how this is segregated. So this is a very important thing that you have to do. And next comes ethics. See, in ethics, again, so as I said, in the first month you have to, that is in the month of July, you'll be focusing on optional ethics and essay. Ethics also, the weekends or one Sunday can be dedicated for ethics and essay, like that. So it is up to you on how much time you have, all that. So this can be the thing wherein you'll be writing 1 ethics paper every week. So you'll have 8 weeks, that is in July and August. So that makes it, so this is 16 ethics here. So this is, ethics here. In the last month, you'll be able to write another 4. So this can be the total number of ethics paper that you can write, 8 plus 2. Again, it's an ideal number according to your time and the preparation levels. You can do it accordingly. But the best source for ethics would be again PYQs only, the case studies, all that. No, please solve the last 10 year case studies. And here the theory part and the case studies, please don't neglect the theory part. I'll give you the structure for it. And so many students have a doubt in ethics, especially when should I start with the case studies, then go to the theory questions. I would advise you to start with the theory questions, the first part of it, and then you can transform into the case studies, because obviously you would have the initial part. No, what happens is when you are solving a case study in the initial time, initial 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you will become more conscious because that is your first case study and you'll spend a lot of time. By the time you realize what's happening, you would have spent 15 to 20 minutes in one case study. And because of which, and the most challenging task in ethics is, it is lengthy paper. So that becomes difficult. So time management is a great thing that you need to look into here. So you can start with, say, first question, say there are 10 questions, and if you know the first, third, fifth, you can write it accordingly. So the first 1 hour you can dedicate it for that, and slowly from there you can go to case studies, because when you are writing case studies, this will also help, because whatever content that you have written in the first theory part will also help you in the while you are solving the case studies. So let it go that way. And coming to the quote-based questions, where I have seen a lot of students struggling with the structure. So in a quote-based essay, whatever quote is given in the ethics, always first your introduction should be on what is your understanding of that quote. Second thing can be relevance in terms of the current affairs issues, relevance in terms of the personalities, relevance in terms of your own example. So these are the dimensions in which you can think. And then, is there a counter view to the same quote that is given, and examples accordingly in the conclusion. So this is the structure that you need to follow, and not every time there's a counter statement given to the quote there, right? So accordingly you have to write it. So this is how the structure should be for the theory based questions. And when it comes to case studies, obviously your introduction can be based on your understanding of the entire case study, the crux of the case study, the ethical dimensions and values that are concerned in that case study. That can be another way of introducing, or it can be you defining, say it is on the case studies on the sustainable development or whatever it is, you can define that, You can define that is another way of introducing a case study, or any parallel examples. If there's a case study there, if you find that the similar case that you would have heard, you can write that. So these are the different ways how you can introduce the case studies. And the major thing in the case study you should always understand is, first try to see which part of the syllabus it is connected to, whether the case study is on attitude, aptitude, compassion, right, or it is checking the value systems of a civil servant, or like honesty, integrity, right. So I have to understand to which topic it is getting connected to. So this is an important part in the case study. And also, you always know case studies have the ethical dilemmas. That is what you have to bring in, right. And when the most important part in case study is, it is not about which decision you take, because, and also when you're presenting it, most of the students who I see, either you go with the extreme statement, the extreme decisions. Obviously you will not be taking the 1 or 0, which everybody knows that are the extreme, and obviously you will be taking a middle path. Try to come up with alternatives. If UPSC has not asked you it's not given, they've already given the alternatives, then you can come up with alternatives where a lot of ethical dilemmas are there, very closely connected ethical dilemmas are there. That is the alternative that you can actually write it on. That will get you more marks, and more importantly, substantiating it. Why are you taking this decision? That is more important in case studies. So here, when you're reading ethics, I always advise students that you should always keep that there are 3 subjects in mind. One is your polity or the administration. This gives you the practical examples and practical way of dealing the case studies. Second is the history, mythology, or the culture part of it, the value system it brings in, or the values that were ingrained during the freedom movement, the freedom struggle, all that, right? Or the third part would be the philosophy. So these are the 3 subjects. History or mythology is one, polity is the other, philosophy is the other. So you are saying that I'm taking so and so call. I'm not taking such a call because because of this 3 dimensions. So this will give you more points to substantiate and answer. This is one way that you can look into it. And also, when you're in especially ethics, always keep things prepared for every keyword in the syllabus. So attitude, aptitude, right, compassion, all that, you write your own definition of your understanding of that word instead of writing the technical name. So that is how you should make the notes, right? And note making is very, very important. I've interacted with a lot of toppers, all that, and I could understand that the difference is the crisp notes that they would have prepared for. So that plays a very important role. Keep for every keyword, keep the introductions ready. Then you should have say any thinkers. It can be Western thinkers, Indian thinkers. Say for example, attitude, as what has Gandhiji told about attitude, or a Western thinker mentioned about attitude. So that is one part. Second part. Then the third part is examples. The examples, again, it can be the personalities ka example, current affairs ka example, and your own example. Always try to see examples in 3 perspectives. Your own example, the current affairs examples, and the personalities example. So it can be like, say, attitude, positive attitude of Gandhiji led to, simple example I'm giving, led to Indian freedom, or like say negative attitude of Hitler led to World War II. So these are the things that you can note it down and write it down. Clear? And also, like I have last year also had shared the PDFs especially for ethics, the notes that I had prepared. So this year also I'll be sharing it. You can use that as well. A lot of value additions that will come through this notes, and also you'll have an insight into what should be the approach for the case studies. So this is with respect to ethics paper. So you can do it like that in the month of July, where weekends you can dedicate it for essay and ethics, and the rest of the time you can dedicate it for your optionals, or it is up to you on how you allocate it. So this is the ethics paper. So you can divide it into 3 parts, right? Or you can, what we have done in our tests is, we have divided this from this part, from ethics, human interface, till aptitude as one part, and this is the second part, just like this. So this is how the ethics module has been divided in our test series, where this is first part, and this gets repeated 4 times. So you will get exposed to different set of questions here. This is one part, and the next part, from the contribution of model thinkers to challenges of corruption, all that. This is the other part of ethics. Yeah, coming to the month of August. So as I said, the time given to your optional should keep on, like after the month of July, it should start on the decreasing trend. So again, it depends on how prepared are you with the option, because there is a topper who's a rank holder who's again writing the test. There's an interview student who's writing a test. There's somebody, a first timer, who is writing a test, right? So accordingly, it can be done. But as you go in the month of August, the thing is the time given to GS should start increasing. As I've mentioned, 60:40, that is 6 hours is to 4 hours. Or finally, in the first 2 weeks, and later in the next 2 weeks, you can give more time. That is, this becomes 20 for optional and 80 for GS. So this can be the trend here. And also there are students who take up one full length mock test in the month of August. So that can be done in the last week of August. We have also made a plan accordingly here. And these are this is with respect to the planning. The next most important thing is like the 5 most important things that you need to keep in mind during the mains phase, where I would say it is must do's, where students commit mistakes. That is, the first is complete the paper. Please try to complete the paper. Instead of writing the 12 best answers, if you can write 20 good enough answers, that will matter. See, obviously, when you really do not know any information of that particular question, that is an iota of information also you do not have, then it is fine. But always look for clues. Look for the core theme, the general commonsensical theme. The second part of the, for example, in one of the papers, I think in 2016, there was a Coelho case asked. So more like some of the students did not have an idea of what is this Coelho case. But the second part of the question actually told what was that Coelho case related to. So always be vigilant. Presence of mind really helps. Common sense really helps. And completing the paper, you have to do it. So even in our tests, what we have done in our TLP test series, we have also given you that daily test, and most of you would be following TLP. So we have integrated that with our test series. So what did we do is, any topic that is given, we also tell them like daily what should be done. Like same topic, say society is there. So daily what are the topics that have to be covered, and finally weekend that will be 5 questions. So if you have an issue with completing the paper, the speed of the paper, speed is an issue, then try to do it for like say 35 minutes to 40 minutes, 5 questions. So practice that, then increase the number of questions and try to see it in 2 hours, then 3 hours. So that can be a step-by-step process. Always have a timer with you and practice that. So that will help a lot in building your speed. Yeah. The second thing is, don't wait to start answer writing from August. So this is something, this is another mistake students do, where they think that I'll cover off everything and probably in the month of September or August I'll start writing answers. Please don't do that. Whenever you cover a certain chunk of it, you try to take even 4-5 questions and always when you write answers, go with the timing. Initially, you might take more time, so don't worry if it is for 35 minutes, you are extending to 45 minutes, it is still fine. But over weeks, you will build up that speed. So this is the second thing. Third thing is, answer the demand of the question rather than the topic. Most of the students make a mistake here. For example, if the question is on GST and the question is on connecting GST with cooperative federalism, obviously my introduction will be, I'll start with say 101st Constitutional Amendment Act gave provision for GST, and some 279A, I have forgotten the exact article, which provides for GST Council. So that would be my introduction. Then it should be more about which are the attributes that helps in cooperative federalism. So that is answering the demand of the question. If it is the topic, then you will be writing everything that you know about GST, which is not required here. Right here, the more major aspect is how the council is formed, what is the composition of the council, where there is central finance minister and also the other state finance minister, how decisions are taken, where 3/4 of the power is given to the states and 1/4 to the center. All this talks about cooperative federalism. So these are the points that you need to write. So this is the meaning of answer the demand of the question and not the topic. See, when you can answer the demand of the topic when you are shortage of points. Right, because not every question you will be able to write like say 5 points, 6 points, 8 points, all that. So whenever you're feeling shortage of it, only then you can go to this answering the topic. But the first principle should always be answer the demand of the question. That is more important. Next takeaway, refer to toppers' copies and practice on the spot thinking. So referring to toppers' copies, this is another difference that I found when I've interacted, that students referring to toppers' copies, they'll get an idea. There'll be a comparative analysis done, and please try to copy the same style and same way of writing. Try to imbibe that in your own style. See the points, okay, probably how it is structured, how the introductions are written, how the conclusions are written, probably what points you were missing, what value additions you were missing, and try to inculcate that in your answers. So the referring to the toppers copies is important here. And the second thing is on the spot thing. As I said, even while you're writing an essay, even if you're not writing the complete essay, brainstorm. Even say 5 questions are there, that day you're not able to write those 5 questions. What you have to do is, you can just see the question in 20 seconds, right, or 15 seconds, try to structure like what should come in the introduction, body, conclusion. So I have an idea like that. So you have to do like say for every all the 5 questions can be done in probably 2-3 minutes. After that you can look into the synopsis, right, that we provide, and you can see whether how you are structured and what points were written in the synopsis, is it matching. So that is also another way. And that on the spot, and this will help you on developing that on the spot thinking, which is very, very important on the day of the exam, right? Yeah, notes. The fifth most important thing that I found that made a difference in a topper's copy is this value additions, and keep the introductions and conclusions ready. So when I say value additions, it can be examples, case studies, indexes, committee reports, all that plays an important role. So that is where you increase at least half a mark, 1 mark in every question, and 20 marks in one paper. And that 20 into 4 is 80 marks, and the same value additions are done in essay, it can increase to another 10-20. So at least 80 to 100 marks can be the difference because of this value additions. So I'll also be telling you how to make notes, because notes making is a very important part, and the preparation aspect of it, right? So these are the 5 things that you should keep in mind when during this mains phase. Yeah, note making. First thing is decode the syllabus based on the PYQs and your understanding of the subject. That with examples, I'll explain the first part, and make sure for that every topic you have 10 points. So that, because ultimately you'll be writing 150 to 250 words, right? So make sure that you have 10 points for every topic that is given in the syllabus, and the value additions, which I've already explained before. So coming to the first part of decoding the syllabus and making notes according to the decoded syllabus, that is a very important aspect during the mains phase. So one example that I would like to take is this GS3. We have this topic called as mobilization of resources. So in mobilization of resources, obviously you should start asking your basic questions. First thing is, how do you mobilize the resources? What are the issues involved? What are the government measures taken, right? And the way forward. Then resources. What are the kind of resources? First of all, that you should have an idea. So this is basically the scope. This is basically the dimensions in which you will be studying, the various dimensions in which you should be studying this particular topic, and this is the scope of this topic. So when I say resources, there are 3 different types of resources: natural, man-made, and financial. So natural resources, it can be forest, it can be sun, all that, and even minerals for that matter, right? Man-made resources, nuclear energy can be one of it, and then financial resources, it can be your budget, right? So or even like human resource also can be another part. Human also can be the other part. So try to understand the scope of the topic first. This will give you various dimensions on which a question can be asked, right? This comes with, one is your own basic understanding of the topic, and the other thing is the last 10-year PYQs you take and you study, you will get an idea on which theme the questions have been coming from. Rather than the question, study the theme on which the questions are coming. So this is how you would be studying. These are the basic questions that you will be asking. When you take a topic, you have to do it, you have to delineate it like this, and finally understand what is the scope of this particular topic, right? I have another example as well. Salient features of Indian society. So this is nothing but the scope of the topic. So basically, just like salient features of Indian constitution, what are the salient features of Indian society? The first thing that strikes our mind is caste system, right? A strong patriarchal society we are, right? Joint family system, that of course now it is breaking down all that, but still we are known for that joint family system. And the most important feature here is we are known for diversity in terms of region, religion, in terms of the languages we have, right? In terms of different cultures we have, all that comes under diversity. So this basically is nothing but again the scope. Always try to understand the scope of the topic. This will give a basic idea on what are the subtopics that you can study under each of them. So this should be the first step. Clear? Okay, one more example if I have to give you. This is impact of globalization on Indian society. So the first thing is, obviously you should know the basic understanding is what is this globalization, positives, negatives, all that. So once you understand what is globalization, the next thing is, if you look at the PYQs, right, UPSC has a knack of asking the vulnerable sections, right? That is, when I say vulnerable sections, it can be old age, women and children, poor, farmers, physically handicapped, tribals, all that, right? So here, if you look at PYQs, old age, it is for, I think, 2016, there was a direct question of impact of globalization on elderly population. Then I think it was on 17, it was on women and children. And later, the next year, the question was not, I think in 18 or 19, there was a question on middle class. Because middle class form the major chunk. If there's an increase in the fuel price, there's an increase in vegetable price, right? The rich will afford, the poor will not even take it. But it is the middle class who have to, who will bear the, the burnt there, right? So that is the reason there was a question on middle class as well. So there's a direct question. So this, when I refer the PYQs, I'll understand on what zone or what theme the questions are coming from. This is this particular topic. So this is a very important exercise, which you should do it for. And obviously this is not possible for every topic. So for example, geography or history and all, right? But wherever it is possible, please try to decode the syllabus in terms of themes and make notes accordingly, right? Here, then how is globalization impacting our culture and value systems, the values that we had, right? How the westernized so-called culture is slowly picking up among the youth, right? All that. So, and our culture as well, how it is impacting our culture. It can be our food habits, it can be the fast food culture, it can be nuclear family system that we are having, all that, and the environment part of it. So this tells me the scope of the topic. Accordingly, I have to make notes. So this is how I have to prepare. Making notes. This is something that I convey to most of my students here. This way it will be short, crisp, to the point. So anything, this is anything, like any topic can be written in a square here, in a rectangle here, and this is divided into 4 parts, right? The first part is your basic understanding or your definition of what is demographic dividend. Clear? So that is what you will be writing here. Next, what are the issues or challenges or impact? I can write issues and challenges mean one and the same, and impact, always the stakeholders, right? Who are the stakeholders? How is it impacting, right? What are the challenges? All that. Then for every issue, as a bureaucrat, you have to give solution, right? That will come on this side. It can be government measures taken, it can be best practices, all that. Then the value addition, that is nothing but examples, case studies, best. Here also you can write the best practices here, all that, or even committees, etc. So all this, so one topic is covered in 4 dimensions like this: the definition or your basic understanding, issues and challenges and impact, what is the solution, what are the measures taken by the government and the other side of it, and the value additions here. And coming to best practices, like it can be like, for example, in solid waste management. There I had read this topic on green dot system. So that was practiced in Germany, where every plastic that is put, a green dot was put. So basically, if you put more number of plastics there, say the 5 plastics is used, 5 layers is used to cover that product, then obviously 5 dots. And hypothetically, say the fine for every layer that you have put is, say, 100 rupees, then 500 rupees is the fine. And this responsibility of paying the fine was the liability of the producer. So that was the concept of producer pays responsibility. And the same system we bought in India through the solid waste management rules. So these are called best practices. Or say in Sweden and all, they import waste from other countries and they are earning a lot of revenue out of it when they are recycling it. So these things, or direct cash transfer, I think it was taken from Brazil. So these best practices will also have a value addition for you. Clear? So this is how the notes can be made in a simpler way. Fine? Yeah. And many of the students have these issues on how to tackle the keywords that is given at the end, like of the question, like discuss, elucidate, critically examine. Is there a difference, first of all, in that? Or should I have a different strategy? The way, for example, smart cities. Smart city was asked in GS1 paper and it was also asked in GS3 paper. So should the strategy be the same when you are writing an answer in GS1 and GS3? Or what is the first principle of answer writing? All these things, the basic things that you have to know about answer writing. I made a video and I've explained it in detail. Even the different ways of presenting a question. How do you inculcate the diagrams, the flow charts, or the maps? In which part you should be actually connecting it to, right? And how do you structure the answer? The importance of structuring, and even value additions. How do I pick up the validations? Everything I've done it in detail in this video called Aware series. It's called Answer Writing Redefined, and it goes with the name Aware series. Just give Aware series by Mohan sir on YouTube. You'll get this video. It's a series of videos. Around 6 videos are there. You can see whichever video that is important for you. You can watch that video. Clear? Yeah. So this is with the complete thing that about answer writing. So, and the next 2.5 months, you need to buckle up and you have to be ready for the heavy grind here, right? And if you can give your 100% every day, I think the rest of the thing will fall in place. All that you have to do is give that extra effort, and as I said, the competition in this phase will definitely increase compared to the prelims phase, and you have to be on your toes. If you're wasting 2 hours today here, somebody else will be making that gain in that 2 hours. So that thing you need to keep in mind. Give your 100%, give out your all, whatever possible, because as I keep saying, try to score as much as possible in mains. Target for 850 marks in mains, and you have to score that much. I mean, if you are scoring that much, even if your interview score is going low, you will still be landing in top 50, top 100. That is the beauty of mains, and this is something that you can plan and execute it well. Do it. And I've also made a video on this mains mentorship, where I'll be personally mentoring students. You can enroll for that as well. It is just 10 rupees we are charging for it, just for that registration purpose. We are a TLP, famous TLP, our flagship program, which most of you would be knowing. You can join that test series as well. That is a separate thing altogether. So wish you all the best, and thank you.